Okay, rest days at tournaments. It's a tough one. Obviously, compared to tennis and squash typically we don't have rest days. We play, if it's 32 draw, we play 5 days straight. It's obviously got to do with higher venues, court costs, expenses. Obviously, promoters probably would like to have a longer tournament, but expenses obviously adds up. So tennis, obviously, their Grand Slams, their big ones go for over 2 weeks. So they virtually play one day, a day off. So in squash, I don't think we need to go to that extreme. But I think like this year, obviously, this is probably the first year ever I've ever been involved with after the semi-final, there is a rest day before the final. I think it's not a bad idea. I think overall, to try to get more matches on the glass court, I would like to see more rest days earlier in the tournaments. Like for this draw, 64 draw, there's only one glass court. Obviously, the top 4 seeds play on the glass court. It's a huge advantage for them to play every match on the glass court, where everyone else plays at least 3 matches at the traditional court at the club, and then having to come straight across and play on the glass. So I think maybe having a split, if it's a 64 draw, maybe having a split after the 32 and then after the 16 or something like that, or maybe the round of 16 in quarterfinals split, so at least the last 16 all get to play on the glass court. I know the players obviously going down every night, watching it down there, we're all blown away by how great the setup was, how good the glass court looked. And I think for a World Open, if you make the last 16, you probably deserve to be able to play on the glass court. And I'm sure there was a few players disappointed that they made it through to the last 16 and didn't get that opportunity. So I think having a split round, maybe round of 16, and then maybe a quarters split, and then maybe play semi-final 2 nights in a row. That might be a good way to do it, but I think it's something to look at. I think, again, unfortunately, it probably just gets down to overall cost, and something like a good example I think would be John Nimick in New York for the Tournament Champions. Obviously, Grand Central, one of our great locations, but obviously I think it's very expensive to hire that where he does it in Grand Central. So whether it's worth it for him to put an extra couple of days onto the tournament, probably not. But obviously, if there's availability like here in the Middle East, probably would be the easiest tournaments where we possibly could have a couple extra days added onto the tournament and try to get more matches on the glass court. I think we miss a lot of opportunities early in matches where, like this tournament, second round, there was a match between Aslan from Malaysia and Daryl Selby that went 2.5 hours or something. So, and they played on the traditional court. So, and no one filmed it, no one sees it, no one will ever really see it. And apparently, it was a fantastic match. So, if that match was on the glass court, then people would filmed it, people would have memories from it. And I think there's a lot of matches like that early in tournaments where we miss them because they're just at the normal courts and no one films them. So I think as far as our new TV deal, it could be something they might want to look at trying to get more matches on the glass court. And they always obviously show, which they should do, they should show the semi and the final, but I'm sure they could show a lot more clips, a couple of minutes from a couple of different matches, the better matches from the first rounds or second rounds, which sometimes are the better matches. So.